Hello, this is Mona Duncan, and I'm here for this week's rendition of Greet the Week. And I was just talking with Jan by video, and Jan is home and had a wonderful time on her vacation. However, she is not well, and she's stopped up, and she said that she just exhausted her body on traveling and touring and hiking, and has bowed out for today, but has assured us that she will be back with us in days to come. So I thought today that we would look at the fact that this is Memorial Day and just talk for a few minutes about memories and so forth. Memorial Day, I had a friend that wasn't Jan, but it could have been. I had a friend that had traveled in this exotic place. I think she was in Turkey, and went up onto this mountainside and was looking out at the vast array and was just awestruck by the beauty and the meaning and the ambiance and the atmosphere of the group that was together on this tour. And she had this conscious thought to remember this, to remember the beauty, to remember the atmosphere, to remember the joy. And as she was thinking that consciously and just absorbing in all that there was, she had another conscious thought, another epiphany. And that was, where are all the memories up to this time? That we go through life, and, you know, it's kind of one of the mysteries is, why do we remember some things and only parts of some things? And why do we forget so much that's not memorial? And this is Memorial Day, and it is to remember those who sacrificed everything, that we may live in a nation that has as much freedom as we do have. And so I'm going to share the screen here, that I have a quote that I wanted to share with you. Let me put this down. The definition of a veteran, the author is unknown. I just think it's so powerful. A veteran, whether active duty, retired, National Guard, or reserve, is someone who at one point in his or her life wrote a blank check made payable to the United States of America for the amount of, up to, and including my life. That is honor, and there are far too many people in this country who choose to no longer understand it. The drive to help others, the wanting to serve country, and then sometimes we don't realize, wow, up to and including my life. And to remember that whether they were young or older or what war, there was a grander scheme in there too. And so, although Memorial Day weekend, 4-day weekend for some, 3-day weekend for others, is often seen as an introduction into summer that's here now and having fun prior to. And that's okay, but not if we forget the purpose of this holiday. That's to remember those. I was reading an article in the Sunday paper here in Waco, Texas, McLennan County, and there was a Vietnam veteran. Well, started out saying that there are still 82,000 missing veterans from World War II, the Korean War, and the Vietnam War. And here in Waco, in McLennan County, we have a memorial to the Vietnam War. And this Vietnam veteran body had just recently been found and identified and just recently buried, and a new monument, his name added to the Vietnam Memorial. Nothing or very little was known about his life, other than the fact that he cared enough about our country to, whether it was a freebie, a join up, or whether it was a recruitment, to be a part of. And we had, even though it was a war that for years was rallied against and not appreciated, there was something there that was a drive to go back to and remember what our country was founded on: life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, which kind of takes us back to happiness. And what is happiness? The pursuit of. It is looking at, sometimes if happiness, we just think of being feel-good feelings, but if we were to expand that into the fact that maybe someone is pursuing a career in medicine or pursuing a career in law, it means to hone the skill of. It means to practice, learn. And that's the pursuit of happiness. It's the practice of it. I was talking at a family reunion with an aunt, and she was sharing some of the things from her past, and I made the comment, I said, but were you happy? And she reached over and she patted me on the leg and she says, oh, Mona, we didn't even think about things like that. And I started thinking about that. Why do we always just look at what, is it making me happy, or am I happy over this? It's looking at the fact that life is to be pursued, is to be practiced, so that we can get along in ways that are reasonably happy. I love the serenity prayer that's used in those 12-step programs. It's a long prayer by Reinhold Niebuhr, and it's more than the first 4 lines of God grant me the serenity or the peace to accept the things I cannot change, the wisdom to change the things I can, and the power to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Well, that prayer goes on, and it talks about accepting this old sinful world as it is, not as I would have it to be. And living life in such a way that we could be reasonably happy in this life and supremely happy in the next. And so whether, it's the religious teachings or whether it is the psychology or whatever, it's always looking for something better than. Whether it is, heaven, whether it is nirvana, or whether it is just having a restful spirit whenever this life is over with. To live a life that we are reasonably happy. And we do that by pursuing, by remembering. By remembering, in grammar, the is to go back and to redo, rethink, remember, reciprocate, get back in time. To remember. Those memories are still there. And to get in touch with them. And remember through respect. To respect. To reverence, to honor, to dignify. I've been thinking a lot about reverence lately, just to revere things. I had some yard work done and had a tree that was dead and needed to be taken away. And I went out there to look at it, and at the bottom there was ant beds and termites there, and not wanting the workers to be bitten by fire ants and so forth, I prodded down in there and took a spray and began to kill them off. And I began to think about reverence. The way we do one thing is the way we do everything. And if you have reverence for life, then even the things that we may not see as being that useful, it has a purpose in life. And I had a sadness even as I sprayed the termites. But it gave me a new respect for the fact that everything in this life has a purpose, and it's a greater intended purpose than what we can initially see. We live outside the city limits out a little ways and have occasional had possums come visit us. And my husband made the comment the other day that he had a little new respect for possums whenever he was reading somewhere that they eat fleas. We have pets, but just as soon not have fleas around. So it's looking at remembering, respecting, seeing a dignity, whether we understand all the things that's, matter of fact, I don't know that there is any way we can understand all of the variances of things, that way things can be understood. But it's working together for the good of the whole. That our country was founded on life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The liberty to speak out, speak up, the liberty to, within boundaries, go and do and be, and to revel in that. Fred Rogers on Sunday morning, they had a tribute to him. And how Mr. Rogers and all the people in the neighborhood, and he made the comment, he said, love is at the bottom of everything. Or the lack of it. Love of country, love of people, love of our fellow Americans, love of our country that we broke off from, love of our everyone, everywhere in the world. To dignify humanity. Whether we have a rotten personality or not, whether we are right on, wrong on, it's to realize that there's a purpose for everything. I was reading Dr. Jakes, T.D. Jakes, is that his name? I can't remember his name. Anyway, he was talking in there about Judas betraying Jesus. He was talking about friendships and how we can be so betrayed by a friend that distrusted us or we, whatever. But he was talking about Judas was Jesus's friend and he betrayed him. And in that betrayal, Jesus fulfilled his destiny. And in Jesus Christ Superstar, I love the song where Mary Magdalene is singing, I don't know how to love him. I don't know how to love life, pursue, live in liberty, live in grace, live in love. I don't know that. And yet, if he said he loved me, I'd turn my head, I'd walk away, I wouldn't know what to do. And at the end of Jesus Christ Superstar, Judas is, before hanging himself, is singing that same song. I don't know how to love. I don't know how to be loved. I'd turn away. I'd hide my face. I wouldn't know what to do. Love is at the bottom of everything, or the lack of it. Hate is expectations unfulfilled. That leads to wars and destruction and harming of others and robbing of neighbors and all kinds of things. But it's to remember those that have done their best, are doing their best to promote a lifestyle that we really can be all that we're created to be, meant to be, as we don't overstep boundaries. Well, I'm getting ready to go out and work in the yard. So have a great Memorial Day. May this just jog a few memories and remember back and think upon and just give dignity in remembering all the people that have given their lives for something bigger than themselves. God bless. Go in peace.